What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Sunday, March 3rd. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay, let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Dennis Schroder from the Oklahoma City Thunder playing the Memphis Grizzlies, who have one of the best defenses overall, and they give up the 6th fewest points to fantasy point guards. But Dennis Schroder has scored 30, 27, and 30 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 27.7 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 28 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. Dennis Schroder is $5,400 DraftKings salary. He's $300 less on FanDuel, so I love that FanDuel price. Projected at 30.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.7 times value. There's an implied total of 215.5 points in this game. This is a back-to-back, but I still like Dennis Schroder's price, so I like Dennis Schroder here versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Remember, we added projected ownership, and that will be updating throughout the day as injury news changes. We also added the fantasy points per minute stat here for each player, and we also added a stat that's new to the industry. We call it the hit percentage, and it's the percent chance this player has to hit value at his current DFS salary. And you can access all these new stats even on mobile devices by tapping the dash rank icon. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Bradley Beal has scored 60, 46, and 52 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 44.8 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 37 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. Bradley Beal is $9,200 DraftKings salary. He's $800 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. Projected at 41.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.5 times value. He's going to need about 45 fantasy points to hit 5 times value. That's something he's done in all of his last 5 games. So I love Bradley Beal here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the position optimizer where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new player trends tool where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the small forward position? I like Jabari Parker from the Washington Wizards playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Jabari Parker has scored 23, 37, and 21 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 26.8 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 27 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. Jabari Parker is $4,800 DraftKings salary. He's $700 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. Projected at 26.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.6 times value. There's an implied total of 238.5 points in this game. This is a home game, a fast-paced game, a huge total, so I love Jabari Parker here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, who do we have at the power forward position? I know I've picked 2 players from this game already. You don't have to stack this game, but it's only a 4-game slate, so don't worry about picking 3 players from one team, especially if their salaries are low. So I like Jeff Green from the Washington Wizards playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Jeff Green has scored 25, 25, and 6 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 23.2 fantasy points per game on the season and an average of 28 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. Jeff Green is only $4,500 DraftKings salary. He's $300 more on FanDuel, projected at 22.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's right around 5 times value. If he gets 25 plus fantasy points, he'll exceed value and become a great play. And remember, there's an implied total of 238.5 points in this game. That means there's tons of points to go around. So I'm going to take a chance on Jeff Green tonight versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, moving on to the center position. I like Karl Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the Washington Wizards, who have the 4th worst defense overall, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing centers. Karl Anthony Towns has scored 70, 72, and 73 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 50 fantasy points per game on the season and an average of 33 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate. Karl Anthony Towns is $10,800 DraftKings salary. He's $1,200 more on FanDuel, projected at 46 fantasy points here tonight. I think that's really low considering the tear he's been on. He's going to need about 55 fantasy points to hit 5 times value. With that huge implied total, this is the guy I'm expecting to go off for Minnesota. So I love Karl Anthony Towns here versus the Washington Wizards. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.